Bitch, I'm a beast and the best on the beat. Bad bougie bitches, big boobies go beep. I'm boastfully blazing the buddies. Bags of blunts will be blowing so bald that I brag and blatantly buying it, breaking the bank. Broke out the blunt, I will bake on my bread. Bring home the bag and the bang in the back. Beauty is booty that bounce on my bed. Beating and bruising too bad that you bled. You busted my balls, but run out at the beach. Bazooka go boom, and I begin to breach. You boo boo, your bitch will hit with the beam. I brew in the business, a boss on the brawl, and I'm blasting go bows. You being in your brows, you broken your beam, or blacking your best. Get back, you know, boxer. Leave you with a bandage like bottles go bonkers. Butter the buns and the biscuits, but better. Bang up y'all with the bars like it's breakfast. I'm balling you brickin', bro. You cannot bench this. Let's go. All right. This is Book of Valis. We're gonna do some Mandela effects. 17 Mandela effects and the 2012 theory. Let's get it. You want to say anything? Intro. Let's get it. Let's get it.
So, did the world actually end in 2012? Well, it was the year scientists at CERN finally found the Higgs boson. You know, the particle Stephen Hawking predicted could destroy the universe, or in his own words, cause the universe to undergo a catastrophic vacuum decay. Well, what would happen if we destroyed the universe? Would we know? Maybe CERN accidentally created a black hole that sucked us in and we've been living inside it. Physicists actually believe that might be a possibility. There's the old cliche argument that nothing has felt right since 2012. I agree with this. Maybe it has something to do with growing up and getting older, but ever since then, it seems like the world descends more and more into chaos each day. There's some sort of calamity happening almost daily. I think we're in a simulation. I think after the universe was destroyed by CERN, our collective consciousness was moved into a computer-generated copy of our world. The copy is almost exact. The minor differences we notice are what we call Mandela effects. There was someone on 4chan a while back who claimed that they were one of the 23 scientists at CERN responsible for creating the Mandela effect. They claimed that the planet was destroyed and we were placed in a simulated world. The thing I thought was most interesting though is that whoever this person was described reality as being like a set of Russian dolls, where there are worlds nestled within one another, or simulations within simulations. In the SpongeBob episode Pickles, there's a scene where Bubble Bass is exposed for hiding pickles underneath his tongue. This is a pretty popular and iconic moment in the show, generating tons of memes on current day social media. In this clip, there's a pink fish woman who claims that she sees her car keys underneath his tongue by shouting out, "And there's my car keys," suggesting that he had stolen it from her and hid it underneath his tongue. But when the camera cuts to it, there are only pickles,
guys like my mustache.
leading some to conclude that this line was never in the original scene, claiming that it sounds out of place, it's badly cut, and intentionally placed there afterwards. Take a look.
He's been hiding the pickles under his tongue the whole time.
And there's the pickles from last time, too!
And there's my car keys.
Some also recall other customers, the ones in the background, shouting out an item that Bubble Bass had stolen from them and hid underneath his tongue, shouting things like, "There's my wallet," or "There's my shoe." But when you rewatch it, they don't say a word, and instead angrily rush towards Bubble Bass. Do you guys remember this pink fish appearing in that scene and saying that Bubble Bass stole her car keys? Let me know what you guys think about this one in the comments. Many remember Disney's 1951 Alice in Wonderland, a classic that many refer to and some like to quote. A memorable character that many recall and love is the Cheshire Cat, known for its creepy grin and trippy colors. Well, many people remember the cat saying this exact phrase to Alice, "We're all mad here," and then he laughs, insinuating that everyone there is crazy. But this isn't how it goes in the Disney film. What he actually states is, "Most everyone is mad here." Totally different from what people remember. There are pieces of quote-unquote residue that some say is proof of the original line existing in the film. From pop sockets, pins, stickers, shirts, and other pieces of art, they all contain this quote that doesn't appear anywhere in the Disney film. Even the original voice actor of the cat, Sterling Holloway, remembers it being "We're all mad here," as he says this exact line in a live-action version of the scene from a television segment. Take a look.
But I don't want to go among mad people.
Oh, my dear child, you can't help that. We're all mad here. Everybody's mad.
An interesting fact about this character is that it is believed to have been inspired by a carving of a grinning cat at a cathedral where Lewis Carroll, the writer of Alice in Wonderland, would attend as a child, due to his father being the pastor. The carving of the smiling cat may have slowly been embedded into his subconscious. Another strange Mandela effect connected to the movie revolves around her clothing. Some recall Alice wearing red or black striped leggings in the Disney film, an iconic feature of her look supposedly, but this isn't the case at all when watching the movie again. She is simply sporting white leggings. Do any of you guys recall her leggings having stripes in the animation? Here's a poster of the film depicting her in red striped leggings, though it doesn't appear this way in the movie. There's also the fact that many recall Tweedledee and Tweedledum wearing propeller hats, though in the film they are depicted wearing hats with flags on the top, not propellers. Nightmare on Elm Street Mandela Effect. Me and my mom were watching a Mandela Effect video that includes Freddy's sweater. She claims that a red and green tarp covers the house, like a termite fumigation tent on the house, in the ending scene after Nancy leaves. However, it just happens to the car and the mom is snatched through the window. I remember it the way it is, but my mom does not. Does everyone remember it like this? Edit. OMG, I guess my mom uncovered a brand new Mandela Effect, since we have some people here who remember this ending. No, it is not an alternate ending that currently exists, and it is not the 2010 remake. Edit 2. Full rundown of the scene. It begins the same as the current ending, but when Nancy gets in the car, she sees her mom getting pulled into the house by Freddy. Then a termite tent with Freddy's signature red and green stripes covers the house. Nancy screams, and then the car itself gets the tarp over it, like in the new ending. My mom says that it 100% did happen because the ending made her scared of houses with termite tarps over them because of the movie. One reply states, "No, are you serious? The termite thing is gone from the house now? These Mandela effects and reality changes never failed to get me so beyond shook. Now I want to go rent the movie just to see the scene because that is so freaking scary that it would be gone." Me and my sis used to watch it all the time in childhood, and that termite red and green circusy looking tent always stood out to us because we used to say how it's strange that somehow that tarp over the house used to make the scene even creepier for us. Drake Mandela effect. There has been a Mandela effect making its rounds online, claiming that Drake has never done this hand gesture in his music videos before, where he waves his hand right in front of the camera while rapping. Although many remember him doing it while rapping his songs in videos and performances. You even have parody artists doing it. Though it is hard to find throughout his multiple hit music videos, you will eventually come across a similar hand movement in God's Plan and No Lie, though this isn't exactly what people remember him doing. I don't know if anyone knows of the YouTuber Lil Moco. He was very popular around the 2012s for his funny Drake impressions, and I remember him doing that exact hand movement when impersonating Drake and finding it spot on and hilarious. Home Alone screaming scene. In the film Home Alone, there's a scene where the main character Kevin applies aftershave to his face, which causes a stinging and burning sensation, causing him to scream. Many remember this scene only happening once in the film, but there are two instances in which this scene occurs in the movie, and they are eerily the exact same, throwing some people off. I always remembered it happening once, while the Drifters version of White Christmas played, but apparently, having watched the movie recently, it happens twice. I absolutely do not remember two instances of this happening from my memory of watching this as a kid. LOL. The Hunger Games map changed? My mom was rewatching one of the Hunger Games movies, and I remembered this map that I had seen on the districts and the books, and brought it up to her because I remember being very shocked by the map. It was shaped like the US and was overlaid on a US map, but both of us vividly remembered the districts being circular, with the capital at the center, with 12 to 13 rings around it, each being a district. I remember the train going straight through all of them. I tried Googling it to see if anyone else had noticed this or if we were misremembering, but I couldn't find anything to suggest that the map was originally circular. I found an image that is similar to what both of us remember it being like, but obviously it's not actually the Hunger Games map. Anyone remember this too? It reply states, "I am with you here. I never remembered it being the United States. The circles sound familiar with the train running through them to the capital in the center. I would have remembered if it was a map of the US, even if my circle map memory was wrong. This is really strange. Looked again. I'm 99.99% sure on this now, that the map has drastically changed." Another effect involving the Hunger Games touches on a scene where all the participants are standing on the platforms waiting for the games to begin. Many remember seeing one of the participants step off too early, and as a result, they were blown up, a scene that many remember shocking them when watching the movie for the first time. But if you go back
I
and
never
rewatch
watched
that
the movie.
exact same scene, nothing of the sort happens. Nobody is blown up for stepping off the
I only watched the
platforms too
parody
early.
movie.
The scene has apparently never been in the film. Do you guys remember some guy getting blown up, or is this a mix-up with another popular film? Maybe another dystopian book film adaptation. Nikola Tesla, the most underrated inventor in history, some might say. From charging your iPhone to opening up the fridge, he's the person to thank, as he was known for his contributions to the design of the modern alternating current electricity system, allowing for a steady supply of electricity to homes and appliances. After having a falling out with Thomas Edison due to his preferences of a less efficient but more profitable system at the time, he began a partnership with Thomas Edison's rival, and they both made the AC system mainstream, phasing out Edison's DC system. He even went on to create the first remote control boat that tricked people into thinking that he was performing a magic trick. He would sadly lose tons of money and go into debt when his investors backed out on his Tesla Tower project that would create a telecommunication system. All this after his patent for a radio communication system was stolen, most likely backed by Thomas Edison. This is where the Mandela effect comes into play. Tons of people remember him dying in a tragic accident, either from dying in a car wreck to dying in a fire, though his actual cause of death was due to heart failure at the age of 86 years old. He died alone and in pain as he refused to see a doctor. Interestingly, days after his death, his hotel room at the New Yorker that he had been living in was searched and seized by the FBI. They collected all his final documents and notes. The Old Testament tells a story about a man named Samson. In this story, it is said that God gave Samson incredible strength, enough to tear a lion apart with his bare hands when he encountered the angry creature, though his ultimate downfall would be due to Delilah, his girl who was bribed by the lords of the Philistines to find Samson's Achilles heel, his weak point. He kept on misleading her until he finally revealed that it was all due to his long hair. Here's where people are confused. Who cut Samson's hair to make him weak? People are most keen on saying that it was his own girl Delilah who cut his hair in the middle of the night as he was sleeping, but it was actually a servant who was ordered to cut Samson's hair, not Delilah. Jesus was a carpenter. Growing up in the church, I always thought that Jesus was a carpenter, and so do tons of other people. Even in films, he was depicted this way, like in Passion of the Christ, where they show him making a table for Mary.
It's like a carpenter.
Johnny Cash also has a song, Jesus Was a Carpenter. It's just always been depicted this way in the media. But the more you dig into the subject, you start to discover that he wasn't a carpenter at all. Jesus was actually a stonemason according to historians. Instead of using saws and nails, he most likely worked with squares and compasses, hammers and chisels to form the stone.
Stonemason?
The word tikton in Hebrew, meaning craftsman or builder, was
probably
mistranslated into meaning only carpenter according to scholars.
Yeah,
So Jesus was a
mistranslation.
tikton, though I don't really believe this one to be a true Mandela effect,
Like
as
his
it's
real
more of a
name- his
correction
real name
of
is
what we once
Yosef.
thought was true.
Joseph,
Popeyes wind
and
up
it translates
punch.
to
Me and my
Joseph.
friend were joking
in
about
English.
hitting someone with the Waiata punch, and we're trying to find a gif portraying it, only to
Supposedly.
realize we can't find it. He's supposed to wind up his punch behind himself in a circular motion until his arms twist into a spring and then let the spring unwind into an uppercut. But after literal hours of searching, we can't find it, or any other cartoon character performing it specifically as stated. There's Donkey Kong and Rayman performing a similar move,
There's a
but
way you
their
can-
arms don't twist into a spring,
It's
and
like
I've
a
seen no
meditation
other
thing.
posts discussing it. I
You
really
gotta
want to be
like
proven
astral
wrong.
project
Can anyone find it?
or something.
DEA. When you think of those letters, you probably
And if
picture
you take
those
like certain
narco
drugs,
type shows and
psychedelics,
other films in pop
you
culture.
can
Now, what do you recall those letters standing
experience
for?
that too.
What does it mean? Some would say Drug Enforcement Agency, right? You probably remember it that way and have heard it mentioned
But
like
you can,
that
like,
a couple of
astral
times,
project, like,
and
by
so do
yourself
lots
through
of other people.
meditation, too.
But if you do a quick Google search, you'll find that it actually stands for Drug Enforcement Administration, not agency. I think people might be mixing this up with agent, though. Drug enforcement agents do exist. They are even branded this way on the back of their jackets. Maybe some were using agent and agency interchangeably and made a mistake, as seen in these various news articles referring to them as the Drug Enforcement Agency. Boots Popsicle Recap. Many people remember there being a Boots popsicle alongside the famous and prolific Dora popsicle. The Boots popsicle
kinda remember
looked
that.
something like this and would have the iconic gumball eyes just
Maybe.
like Dora's.
I don't know.
Sadly,
I did
those
go to the
never
ice cream
existed
truck a lot
though.
when I was
People
little.
have found quote-unquote evidence that the ice
But
cream
I don't-
company
I
producing
don't think I
these
remember that,
do in
no.
fact create popsicles based on multiple main characters of animated shows, like the Cosmo Bar from the Fairly Odd Parents existing and being sold, but not a popsicle of the specific main character Timmy Turner. Is this another case of the Mandela effect? I don't think so. It seems like they simply chose a funner character to create an ice cream bar for. Or did the Timmy Turner popsicle actually exist? Leave your thoughts in the comments. As for the Boots popsicle, it may have been a short-lived thing that nobody took a picture of or kept any documentation on. But as of now, there is no evidence of the Boots popsicle existing or being sold, though so many other cartoon characters were made into these famous popsicles. Nostalgia trip.
The Mario one.
Guy Fieri. This guy's a
Weird.
legend in the food television scene. Many people remember him for his unique hairstyle and another specific thing about his head, that being his world famous visor, the one with flames on it. It fit perfectly with a spiky bleach hairdo, giving him a distinct look. The crazy thing about this is that he has never worn this visor in any of his hit television shows. It's like it never happened in the first place. There aren't any videos or photos of this guy sporting a black visor with flames on it. It just never happened. Though if you search up Guy Fieri hats, you'll get exactly what you're looking for. Even Filthy Frank, now known as Joji, cosplayed as Guy Fieri in a video and wore a black visor and a black shirt with flames on it. This article dubs him the bleach-haired backward visor wearing chef, though I don't remember him specifically either way. His forehead does look kind of empty now that you've mentioned it. Posted by Diamond Dash Trey. Holy sh! Found Bernstein evidence while packing. I'm currently packing for a move. My husband and I are heavily streamlining our VHS collection. I found my old Bernstein Bears VHS, and the official label says both Steen and Stain. Stain appears on the front label, while Steen appears on the side. Also, and of less consequence, the label my mom puts on the plastic video cover reads Steen. I'm literally shaking right now. Anyone is free to test these images. They are totally unaltered. Ran it through some basic analysis looking for editing, and if it is an edit, then it's a really good one because it doesn't show any traces at all. Just putting that out there. What were your methods? He can tell because of the way it is. That's pretty neat. How neat is that? Pretty neat. Forbidden Uno move. Apparently, there's a move that many people thought was totally allowed in the game Uno, but outright isn't allowed according to the creators themselves, as the Uno Twitter account was exposing that it isn't part of their rules at all. One rule many people remember from the game is that if you don't have the card to play, you have to keep on drawing cards from the stack until you find the corresponding card. According to Uno themselves though, if you don't have a card to play, you're only required to draw one card from the stack and then allow the next person to go. I remember having to draw like 20 cards before being able to find a playable card, and it's like it only happens when you have 2 cards left. There's also that one that I personally don't recall but many others do, in which a rule states that if someone puts down a draw plus 4 card, you're allowed to put down a draw plus 2 card, and the next person is forced to draw 6 cards total. Apparently it has never been allowed in the game. You must always draw 4 cards if someone puts down that card. How I remembered the Mona Lisa. This is from an artist who redid the Mona Lisa painting to what he remembered it like. Hi, I'm a professional graphic designer, and I stumbled on the Mandela effect and thought it was interesting. While I attribute most of them with false memory, I came across the Mona Lisa where someone claimed that the Mona Lisa never had a smile or smirk. I thought to myself, that's right, she never did. So I went straight to Google Images and searched the Mona Lisa. The first picture showed up, which was its Wikipedia. I clicked on it to get a full-sized view, and the hairs on my arms stood up. It seriously looked like someone went into Photoshop and liquefied her face to make her smile/smirk. It just doesn't look like how I remembered it. Also, I never even seen her with the veil on. The Mona Lisa really fascinated me before, and I would watch lots of documentaries on it. She was always depicted as a mysterious person, to the point they wonder if it was a self-portrait of Leonardo da Vinci himself. To me, she always had a blank, unexpressive, and enigmatic face, no smile. In fact, the one I see smirking now gives me the creeps. So I downloaded the photo and got to work to try and depict how I remembered her. First off, I never remember her wearing a veil, so I photoshopped it off. Then I had to get rid of her smirk. On the left side is the real Mona Lisa. On the right side is my rendition. This maybe is just all of us having some false memory, but I cannot get this one out of my head, especially for someone who studied the Mona Lisa and loves art. Your thoughts? Please keep the conversation civil.
He's tripping. That's like the whole thing of the Mona Lisa. Alright. That's gonna be it, dog. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Go check out Book of Valis. Yeah, his channel right here. And we're gonna get out of here. Check out his channel. It's here. You can
Leave a like, subscribe so I can get a PS4 and do Rust content. Infinite Blade, I think it was, or Infinite Darkness EB. Yep, Infinite Darkness EB. Sorry, I'm tired.
Yeah, go check him out. Go check Book out. Go check out Book of Valis. And peace, homie.